What I'm going to tie here is Dave's Damsel. It's actually one of my favourite flies for fishing the small still waters and stuff. Works on the big waters as well, but small still waters especially. It's pretty simple to do. I don't like using tungsten beads unless it's on the river. So I've got a B175 size 8. Tried it in other sizes, but I always go back to the size 8. I've got a 4mm brass gold bead, 14/0 thread, black, wisp again. All I'm going to do is put the undertails in. And I think just the way this fly is made up and the action it's got in the water is what attracts the fish so much. It's won me a lot of competitions and caught me a lot of big fish and a lot of normal size fish. Now I'm using Definite Advantage Golden Pearl that I've always done for the tail. Here's a tip: instead of cutting it to the length you want, cut a full length right off the hank, then tie it in. What this will do is allow you to get 3 flies out of one length, and it'll save your hanks from being all different shapes and sizes. So I'll just wind that forward and wind back. Now normally what I would do at this point is put another hook in the vise, but finish this one off and tie another tail in, but I'm just going to trim it. So the tail's about 2.5 inches in length. I'll just leave that flash aside for the next two. Now the first part, Damsel Olive Marabou. You can use different colours of marabou, but the important thing is that you use the same marabou for the whole fly. So I've cut off 2 pieces of stock. I'll then turn it over so they're facing against each other. Fold it, pull it, bend the stalks. There we go, we have the tail. Just trim that junk off. Cut off the stalks. Hold the tail in place. Right, take another little bit off. Set it in place and tie it in. Right, I'm happy with that. So next part of the fly, some gold wire. I'm using Uni wire. You can use gold oval if you want. I'll just use gold wire for the rib. Tie that in. Now, I usually tie these flies in batches so I'm not wasting materials. And what I'm going to do is this feather, as you can see, has got bits missing off of it. What I've been doing is just ripping it off. You don't need wax or anything, just dub that onto the thread. Okay, so it will catch and it'll make a nice, you can do the marabou rope thing, but I've never done it. I'm quite happy doing it this way. And then just wind forward. What will happen is once it gets wet, there's been a few fish have grabbed it, you'll see it starting to change shape. You'll see the sort of furriness of the marabou. That's what I like about it. Right, that's basically the body. You can see all the little fibres going backwards. Now, next thing, 1, 2, 3, 4 turns of wire. Catch it in and trim. If it breaks eventually. Now we've got a gap here in between the bead and the marabou, so I'm just going to build a little bit of thread up. Right, so we've got a space. The next thing I want to do is get another feather. Okay, pull off 2 centimetres of feather off the stock. Just trim the ends off, catch it in. It's worth it. Just wetting your fingers just to keep that stuck together and keep it away from the tail. Right, and that's my thorax cover. Out Chinese cock, dyed olive. I can dye these for you if you wish. Take a feather off. Leave a little bit of stock so you've got some purchase to grip, because the thread is at an angle as well now because of the shape of the thorax. Catch it in. And forward to behind the bead. Now all I'm going to do is wind the hackle. Keep going until you can't get any more. Right, tie that off. Trim. Now what I'm now going to do here is I'm going to trim in the middle. Right, so just take my scissors. Keep your thorax cover out of the way and just trim some of the fibres away, just to give you a wee channel out. Grab the thorax cover, give it a little twist, pull it forward, catch it in, okay, 2, 3, pull it back up and trim. You see this piece of marabou that I've just cut off? That is going to be the next fly's body, so I'll leave that to the side so there's no waste. Just pull the little bits back. Let it finish. 1, 2, and trim. No need to varnish. But that for me is the best damsel I've ever used. And what I'll do is I'll fish that all day long. If it's struggling and it's not catching fish later on, I'll then change and I'll put maybe one with a red bead or a yellow bead or a pink bead in the front, but always brass. They use tungsten, the dive on the damsel gets too violent, so if you use a brass bead you get a much more fluttering in the tail.